The sun hadn't even risen when the courthouse was already packed. Cameras flashed, reporters screamed questions, and fans clashed on the steps, half demanding justice, half chanting Diddy's name like he was still untouchable. But inside those walls, there was no music, no entourage, no empire to protect him. Just silence. And then the doors creaked open. Sean Diddy Combs entered in an orange jumpsuit, shackles clinking with every step. The man who once ruled hip-hop now looked small, fragile, and about to face a number that could erase the rest of his life. The moment you stepped inside that courtroom, it felt different. The air was heavy, almost electric, like the room itself understood the gravity of what was about to unfold. Every seat was filled, reporters, fans, rivals, strangers, all waiting to witness history. The sound of pens scratching across notepads was the only thing breaking the silence. No whispers, no side conversations, no movement. Just tension. In the back, a row of victims' families sat shoulder to shoulder, their faces carved with grief, anger, and exhaustion. They weren't there for the music, or the fame, or the spectacle. They were there for justice, and they weren't leaving without it. Across the aisle sat Diddy's supporters. Some wore t-shirts with his face printed on them. Others clutched posters of his greatest albums, their eyes full of disbelief. They didn't see a criminal. They saw an icon, a man who had shaped the culture of an entire generation. But the room didn't care about sides. The room only cared about truth. Even the jurors, stone-faced and unreadable, felt the weight of the moment pressing down on them. It wasn't just another trial. This was the unraveling of a legend. And when the clock struck 9 a.m., the doors at the front opened. Everyone held their breath. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs was about to begin. The silence didn't last long. When the prosecutor rose from his seat, the entire room shifted. He wasn't tall, he wasn't flashy, but his presence filled every corner of that courtroom. His suit was simple, his papers stacked neatly, but his eyes burned with the weight of a man carrying truth on his shoulders. He didn't waste time. No theatrics, no pleasantries. His voice cut through the air like a blade. For too long, power has been mistaken for innocence. Today, that illusion ends. A ripple ran through the room. Reporters looked up from their notepads. Even the jurors leaned forward. He began to weave the story, not of a music mogul, not of a cultural icon, but of a man who had hidden behind wealth and influence, pulling strings in the shadows while lives crumbled in the dark. He spoke of control, intimidation, and the way victims had been silenced for years. Every sentence was deliberate, every pause heavy. He wasn't just presenting evidence. He was dismantling a legend, brick by brick, in front of everyone who had once believed the myth. At one point, he stopped, turned toward the jury, and held their gaze. This case isn't about music. It's about accountability. And no amount of fame can place someone above the law. Gasps echoed. Pens scratched furiously. The gallery was frozen in a mix of shock and vindication. For the first time that morning, the man once known as Puff Daddy, Diddy, Brother Love, looked anything but untouchable. Then the defense stood, calm, collected. They spoke of legacy, of music, of a man who built an empire from nothing. They painted him as a visionary, a symbol of second chances. But the words felt hollow, like a song missing its beat. Even some jurors leaned back, unimpressed. And then, the silence shattered. Families of the victims stood, voices trembling but strong. "He destroyed lives," one woman cried. "No hit song can erase the pain he left behind." Her words cut deeper than any legal argument. The defense lowered their heads. Even Diddy's shoulders sagged. For the first time, the weight of the moment crushed him. Finally, the judge spoke. Calm, measured, but unflinching. "The court finds Sean Diddy Combs guilty." The words detonated. Gasps, cries, reporters scrambling. The empire, in that instant, was gone. But there was still one number left. The one that would define everything. 16 years. The room froze. Some sobbed, some cheered, some simply sat in stunned silence. Diddy closed his eyes. No amount of fame, no amount of fortune could rewrite what had just been spoken. The courtroom, once his stage, had become his cage. 16 years. The room froze. Some sobbed, some cheered, some simply sat in stunned silence. Diddy closed his eyes. No amount of fame, no amount of fortune could rewrite what had just been spoken. The courtroom, once his stage, had become his cage. As he was led away, chains rattling, the world outside exploded. Protesters screamed. Supporters wept. Cameras captured every step. It wasn't just a fall from grace. It was a collapse of an empire, a reminder that even kings can be dethroned. Sean Diddy Combs once built a legacy on music, power, and influence. But in the end, none of it could shield him from the truth. Power can build an empire, but justice can tear it all down. So what do you think? Was 16 years justice served, or not enough for a man who once seemed untouchable? Sean Diddy Combs, the man who built an empire out of nothing, now finds himself surrounded by cold walls and razor wire. When the verdict was spoken, it wasn't just his career that collapsed, it was an entire legacy. But here's the question: is this truly the end, or just another chapter in a story that isn't finished yet? History has shown us one thing: men with power rarely stay down. Some stage comebacks, some get rebuilt by their connections, and some vanish forever. So what about Diddy? Will he spend the next 16 years as just another inmate? Or will money and influence find their way back into the game one more time? The trial may be over, but the controversy, that's only just beginning.